Hello, everybody. My name is Harold Downs, meteorology major at Valparaiso University, and I'm here to kind of talk about snowstorm that is going to impact the Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland region. First, before we really look at any models and such, we're going to take a look at what the National Weather Service themselves have to say. So I'm on Twitter, and I have their thread of updates throughout this evening so far. So this was the first update that they had from previous updates. First off, I'll read out the tweet. Multifaceted storm system is still expected to impact the area tomorrow. Higher than normal uncertainty remains an exact storm track and expected impacts to unusually high spread and model guidance for being less than 24 hours out and expected low to mid 30s air temperatures. And that is the big issue with the storm. No, really can't pinpoint the exact location of and how much snow could potentially fall. But there's going to be snowfall. It depends on how much precipitation in terms of rain falls before, and it depends on how warm or how cold the ground is. Because remember, yesterday in Northwest Indiana, the Chicagoland area, it was pretty good. 50s. It got up to 60 here in Valparaiso at one point. So the air temperature or the ground temperature is not cold enough at this moment to be able to have snow accumulation. But let's take a look at this first image here. Key messages: accumulating snowfall threat Friday afternoon, especially along and east of the general I-55 corridor, with travel impacts expected. Higher than normal uncertainty remains, like I said earlier. Differences in storm track, the overall southward trend noted. In my one nowcasting class, we noted this for all the models. They were actually pretty far north in the northern Illinois, near the Wisconsin border, and they just gradually shifted south and east towards uh, around I-88's area and as far down as Valparaiso and south of here. Temperatures in the 30s may limit road impacts, which that would be a good thing, especially for travel. But flights, those are going to be canceled. High confidence in gusty winds, and given the wet, heavy nature of the snow, power outages are possible where heaviest snow occurs. The flood threat is easing, but the snow melts next week could uh, impact that a little bit. New, what has changed? Winter storm watch kept unchanged aside from pushing start time back. Forecast snow amounts lowered in portions of northern Illinois. So that's their first update today. Second update. So this was, if I move this out of the way, 4 hours ago. I believe this thread is all at the same time, I think. But as you can see, these are potential snowfall impacts. You can see before, well, look at the models, but before the snow region was kind of in this region for the heaviest, and it's shifted down here. So right now, if you're living in anywhere near Naperville west of that, you're probably going to get actually just a little bit of snow, potentially 3 inches, maybe a little bit more depending on the wind. Snow type heavy and wet. Snow to liquid ratios 7 to 1. The typical one is 13 to 1. So you're gonna have slop of snow coming down, which wear a baseball helmet. Uh, Northeast winds gusting to 45 miles per hour near the lake shore and south of 88. So this could turn into a blowing snow event too. I mean, you're gonna have some in areas potentially where the snow uh, drifts and have a little bit more accumulations. The axis of heaviest snow may still shift north or south by up to 50 miles. So that is the biggest uncertainty I've seen in a while. So if you live in Joliet and all of a sudden there's a shift north in 50 miles, you're not going to get anything besides rain. Because rain is, if you look at the, when we'll look at the miles, it's going to start out south. So we'll see what happens. It's also a thin line of snow. It's not a huge line, so it's really only like this wide. So like from Kankakee to Elgin wide, and it could shrink or it could expand. But prepare for slow travel. That's a big thing. Here's another models. This has changed because this was originally red here for potential for 3+ snow. As you can see, majority of the Chicagoland suburbs out west and south are going to most likely have a medium percent chance, 50% up to 70% of 3+ inches of snow. Potential for 6+ inches of snow. That shrinks a little bit. This is where the heaviest snow band is possible. Whereas over where we are, there's a 40 to 70% chance of that happening here. So we don't know exactly what this shift is going to do, and we probably will not know until probably an hour to 2 hours out of this event. And it could just not snow, but it could snow a lot. Biggest thing is wet snow, so it's going to be slippery out, especially if it rains before. Timeline. So this is where you want to. This is probably a good part where you want to pay attention to the video, besides the models. Accumulating snow north and west of I-55. Uncertain how impactful the snow will be, but you're looking probably about between noon and 6. North and west of I-55. That's a low probability, so unknown north and west. Accumulating snow along and east of I-55. This gets us a medium. Changeover times from rain to snow still uncertain, so we don't know if it doesn't change from rain to snow at all. This will just be a rain event. Flooding might happen in some places, but if it just changed to snow, this could get interesting. And there's a high percentage of more than 40-mile-per-hour gusts in most of the area, and it continues into the lakes. This is your time frame, probably about 2 o'clock to 6:30. The snow is probably about 12:30 to 6 in that area. And then this is your rain system. You see barely anything in the National Weather Service for Chicago and Romeoville region. But still got to prepare for flooding. So that's a big thing. Also, we are going to take a look at the current watches and warnings out. So currently there's winter weather advisories all along the Chicagoland area. War is actually in the clear right now, but about right next to Page County, Naperville is in. But then you have this winter storm warning, so if you click on it, let's read this a little bit. In effect, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. This is because some parts of Indiana are in Eastern, so you're looking at noon to 10 p.m. Central Time. Heavy wet snow accumulation, intense snow rates, strong northeast winds, low visibility, and dangerous travel conditions expected. Total snow accumulation of 4 to 8 inches expected with locally higher amounts. In addition, northeast winds will gust to an excess of 45 miles per hour. Benton County, this is where I clicked. 2 to 3 inches per hour of snow. That is quite a lot. So you will have to prepare for that. Let's try and get a little bit closer about Valparaiso. Right there. Winter storm warning. Take a look at what they have. At least 48 inches for here. 10 p.m. 10 p.m. 53 inches per hour. So, yeah. I mean, they're calling for minimum of 4 inches of snow and maximum of 8 inches of snow. But where things get really interesting is when you take a look at the model. So let's take a look at the NAM first, the most recent model. This is the Ocean Run that came out at 6 p.m. our time. Let's take a look at the simulated reflectivity. You see this low pressure, and this is just reflectivity. This is not only rain, there's snow mixed in here. And all we're looking for is that. So it's heavy precipitation of whatever it is. That's what you gotta look at. So let's take a look at total precip accumulation. This is an interesting thing to note. See, this is pretty big down in the St. Louis area. 4.2 inches of precipitation. That is a lot. It gets almost up to 5 inches of precipitation. And you see up in the northwest Indiana, Illinois region, 2 inches. So that's why the snow accumulation is going to be sloppy, pretty awful to drive in. And let's take a look at the total snow. Here is your projections for total snow on a NAM model, North American model. See, heaviest kind of goes on this thin band. Valparaiso is included in this one of potentially 15.6 inches of snow, but when you look at the snow ratio, that's 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 a lot. We go back to the individual snow ratio though. Remember, if you want about 13 to 1 for pretty accurate rain, you're getting 7. So for every inch of rain, you're getting 7 inches of snow. So this is where the uncertainty comes in. And then let's take a look at the 850 temperatures because you love -1, 1, anything below. So anything from 3 degrees Celsius below is good for snow, and you have -3. So if we back this up, see that rain, 21Z. So if we continue to back this up, it's going to start off relatively nice, but it's very interesting. And then it gets pretty cold at the 850. This is your lower level. 1,300 meters above the ground. So that's your NAM model. Let's look at the NAM winter snow accumulation. See how much uncertainty is in these models. You have less over the Chicagoland region, but you still have about a foot of snow over northwest Indiana. And I mean, the biggest thing is going to be how much the rain impacts before these areas. If you don't get any rain in this northwest Indiana and Chicagoland region, and just snow, you're going to get a lot of snow because the lower level temperatures are decent enough for it. And you're gonna, if that does happen, you're gonna get 8 to 10 inches of snow. You're not gonna get a foot. Ground is not. A foot might fall from the sky, but you're not. A foot of snow might fall from the sky, but it's not going to accumulate because of the warmer ground temperatures. If it was 35 yesterday, and the same temperature as it was today, which was in the low 40s, upper 30s, then yeah, they would probably issue a blizzard warning out for this. But I don't think a blizzard warning would be necessary at all. But the winter storm warning, I think, is proper because there's so much uncertainty and the precaution. You don't know how much snow you're actually going to get, and depending on the shift of this system, if it shifts north 50 miles, then you're just going to get a ton of rain in Indiana and Chicago. Some snow up here, but if it shifts south even more, you're going to look at more lighter snowfall totals for Chicago. So if it stays on this current model projection path, the western suburbs will be better, but northwest Indiana and near the lake, you'll get a lot of snow and potentially some light effect snow as well. The wrap, this is pretty interesting. This is probably one of the more accurate models you can get for being less than 24 hours. Again, you're looking at 9 inches of snow. And then if we take a look at the snow ratio, trying to pinpoint my location, you get a good estimate. You want to give me that again. If you want a lot of snow, you want that close to 13 to 1. So you're getting 7 inches of snow per inch of rain. That's not going to accumulate much. That's going to actually increase the flooding and slop snow. So my biggest thing is for traveling, if you have to travel, I would recommend leaving before noon tomorrow. And if you're not going to travel tomorrow, then don't travel at all until Saturday. Do not travel at all tomorrow if you don't have to. Stay home because we don't know how much snow is going to drop. It could be anywhere from 2 to 10 inches in Valparaiso. My prediction is 4 inches of snow here right now, but if that but if this storm shifts at all, it could be worse or it could be better for snowfall. But yeah, for the total region, I would have to complain. Let me use my Epic pen for once. Let me black. So my region of concern is probably going to be this area. That is my region of concern. Potentially south of that or north of that, but this is my 8+ inches of snow possibility if the storm hits directly. This is slop. This is gonna be a sloppy snow fall. Take that winter storm warning seriously because we don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys take this seriously. And if you have to travel tomorrow, make sure you do your best to get out of your house before noon because you do not know exactly when the storm is going to hit. The warning is issued for noon to 10 p.m. here, and that's for most of northwest Indiana. So just be careful, drive safe, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. For us, before we have a break, take care, stay safe.